Excuse me. Good morning, and welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. We shall start quickly. The Shiur is לרפואה פנינה חי בס גאול אורך חלחנו בצימה אור רפואל בן דליה. בסוך שאוכל ישראל להצלוחס אהובה שיר ליבה בססת רפומה. ולנשמע סובי מויר מנחם בן עקיבא רוס בשלום סורבס מוישה הן ירא שבס אלחונו יצחק אברום ben Yete. I don't know the father. Okay, may he have an Aliyas Neshama. Amarav. Kiddushin, we are in Daf Mem Zayin Amud Aleph, in the first wide line. Good morning, parrots. Omar Rav. Okay, first wide line. Omar Rav, the two dots. Mekadesh b'milva eina mekudeshes, milva lo yitzo nitno. We saw this before, we see it now again. We saw it in Daf Vav Amud Beis, if you have good memory. A person was mekadesh a woman with a milva, which means he told the woman, your mekudeshes to me with the money that I lent you already. I lent her money some time ago. Nothing between them. There was nothing to do with Kiddushin. A man lent a woman money, right? He thought he was smart. And then what? And then he tells her at some point, I want to be mekadesh you. And she wants, and it's so nice and so friendly. And then what? He says, look, you have the money. You have the $1,000 you owe me. With that, keep those $1,000. And with that, you'll be mekadesh to me. Let's just even it out. As we call it in Hebrew, nitkazez. That doesn't work. Why? Says the Gemara, says Rav, milve lo yitzo nitno. Milve, says Rashi, once given to the woman, or milve given to a man. Milve, once given to a borrower, automatically belongs to him. The money belongs to him. The money is not there to be kept, as Rashi says, in an iska, some kind of security that it's always available for the malve. No. When will the person have to give money to the malve? Whenever it was agreed, 30 days, 1 year, 2 years, whatever it says in the shtar. Up until then, the money from, or so we think right now, from the first second, even if the money is still there, the original money is still there. He gave her $1,000 in a green envelope with red polka dots, right? And it's in her drawer. She never used it. At the moment, that's what Rashi says. It doesn't make a difference. Why? This money is hers. She can, if she wants to use it, at a snap of finger for anything. Elamai, she'll have to give him new money. She'll have to give him other money. But this very money belongs to her. And therefore, you can't be mekadesh her. For Kiddushin, you have to give her something new. Yeah, you have to actually give her money that's yours. You're giving it to her. That doesn't happen in Alva. Therefore, Alva, money with Alva doesn't work. Azoi Zog, that's a big yesod, and that's what Rav said. I'll just continue. Zog the Gemara nema ketanoi. I think, says the Gemara, let us say that the statement of Rav is really a topic of machlokes tanoim. Mekadesh b'milve eina mekudeshes. Yeah. One Tana says mekadesh b'milve, she's not mekudeshes. That's very nice for her, right? Mekadesh woman with the milve, that ain't working. V'yeshom mekudeshes, and some say she is mekudeshes. My love. B'hakamiflagi must be. That's a machlokes. The masal milve lo tzonitno. The one who says that it doesn't work, he believes milve was given for itzo. Milve was given to Itza, and right away the milve belongs to the loive, to the borrower. In this case, the woman. You can't be mekadesh with her money. The other opinion says milve wasn't given for Itza. You have to understand what that means. Lav lo Itza nitno. How could that be? That can be better explained in Amud Beis. But there's a half a minute to say that milve is there, and you always. There are different ways of understanding it. I don't want to say it now. In Amud Beis, remind me. I'll go back here. But the Choira, that's a machlokes. What Rav said, so with such certainty that you can't be mekadesh with the milve because it's lo tzonit, no, it's machlokes tanoim, and that's not good. Because Rav is an amoira, and if Rav is an amoira, he can't argue in tanoim. Rav tanu polig, Subas Dafches, and many other places, it says that Rav is allowed to argue in tanoim. I just saw last week, b'zchus one of the talmidim in yeshiva, I saw something which always felt was right, but I finally actually saw it. Yeah, I saw that it's written in the Rishonim the Ma'arik. Rabbi Yosef Kolon is one of the Rishonim. He says some of the Klolim with the Gemara we only use them if we have no other choice. Yeah, we only use them if you have no other choice. There's no other choice. What can we do? And then what? You pull that card when you have no other choice, right? So we only say Rav Tano Polig if there's no other answer. But if we have another answer, we prefer that Rav does work with the Tanoim. With the Tanoim, not against them. Okay. Now, the Tizbera, frag the Gemara, are you really serious when you're telling me that it's a machlokes tanoim whether milva lotzah nitna or not. Aim a seifa. Continue the seifa of the same statement. What did we just see? Which statement? A very clear machlokes. There's a machlokes tanoim. A man mekadesh a woman with alva. It's a machlokes whether she's mekadesh or not. That's quite simple. Look at the seifa of the very same brisa, and you're in for a surprise. What does it say there? Vishovim. What does it mean vishovim? Don't you again equal? What does it mean shovim when it appears in the Mishnah? When the word vishovim appears in the Mishnah or the brisa, what does it mean? The both opinions agree. Yeah, vishovim always appears after machloikas. Machloikas A and B regarding X, but shovim, they both agree that both opinions who argued regarding milva, regarding kiddushin, the mecher shezeh kono. Oh, in other words, let's say I want to buy a piece of land, an apartment, a gas station, or a petrol station. I want to buy something, a piece of land from my friend. And how can I be koine that? With money. Can it be koine metaltalin with money? No. Karka, you can. Let's say my friend owes me already 3 million shekels. So I'll say, you know what? Okay, give me your apartment and keep the 3 million. Yeah. It doesn't work. No. That's what I would have expected. That at least one opinion should say that it doesn't work. But look what it says. When it comes to mecher, all of a sudden everyone agrees. By mecher, we also have to produce new money, right? So is the thought, yeah. And yet we see that everyone agrees that as opposed to a woman, when you buy a piece of land with money, then to buy it with just forgiving alone is good enough. Continues the Gemara to elaborate. If you're telling me that at least according to one opinion, what was he kind of for? If you're telling me that the 3 million shekels that the house owner, the homeowner owes me, and that's not called me giving money, because I want to explain to you something. By karka, you also have to give money, not just by kiddushin. If you're thinking of answering, well, what you say may be right according to some Rishonim, but mainstream opinion would not differentiate between kiddushin and karka. It's not like in kiddushin we have to this symbolic thing of him giving her the ring, so nice for the photography. No, just like, how do we learn, by the way, kesef kiddushin where from? From karka. How do you know that a woman is thinking of kiddushin? From Avraham Avinu who bought the field. So it's supposed to be the same. So if you're telling me that for a woman you need something new and exciting, and it's not enough to just forgive a loan of money which is currently hers, same thing by karka. How come all of a sudden by karka, by buying a piece of land, it's okay? I'm also supposed to give money as a symbolic thing to show that I'm now the owner, and I'm not giving him any new money. Those 3 million shekels in his pocket are right now completely his. He owes me new ones afterwards. So what's going on here? Therefore, Omar Nachman, therefore we give a different answer. We will discuss afterwards, when we get to the answer, we'll discuss the Rishonim about it. For now, let's just continue. Omar Nachman. Answers of Nachman, and now Rav Nachman will get us out of that plunter completely. Huna Chavrin, Huna, our friend. Rav Nachman is relating to Rav Huna as our friend Huna. They're at the same level. Mukimla b'mili uchri. He explains the whole story of Milva, mili uchri, in other words, in a different way, different fashion. What's the story over here? Kigoin. There's a whole different a whole different case than the regular Milva. Listen to the case. Kigoin she'omer lo. The man told the woman, "Iskadshili b'money, be miskadish to me with the money." How much is the money? That's a lot of money. 100 zuz. That's a very nice amount of money. Be miskadish to me with the money, with 100 zuz. Imagine yourself 100 gold coins. Yeah. V'nim tzamone chosel dina. She counts them under the huppah, and instead of 100, she sees 99. So that is kind of strange, because she may feel bad asking him for the one dinner that's missing. And you know where the milva is? Now what she owes him? He owes her. He owes her now. He promised her 100 zuz, and he gave her 99. Even I know that he owes her how much? 1 zuz. What's the question whether she's mekadesh or not? It's not alvo. It's new money. Remember the dates? Yeah. Same thing with dinners. He gives her one after the other, 99 dinorim. At 99, he stops. She counts. She sees what's going on here. Why do they argue whether it's mekadesh or not? The one who says that she's not mekadesh believes, vis-a-vis human psychology, that she's ashamed to demand it. When you have a business partner, you can be tough. between two men or between two women. Business is business. And therefore, if you owe me 10 shekels, maybe 1 shekel, some of us would forgive it. But if you care about it, you'd ask. It says in the contract, 3 million shekels apartment. You gave me 2.99 million. I need it. Yeah. So that's fine. But a woman, you're starting your marriage, you want to be nice, and their college teacher told you to overlook 90% of your of your husband's issues. You're going to kvetch over one dinner. So therefore, she feels ashamed, but she also feels what? Tricked. She feels cheated, and therefore she has no smichus das. Says Rashi, loisam chadaita hilkachenem kodeshes. She feels it's 199. I feel bad approaching that new guy who's my husband because she's ashamed. It's not kiddushin because the woman has the full haskama, full agreement to be mekadeshes. We care very much all over the Masechta. We see her das has to be very, very much in tune with his. The other opinion, the other Tana who believes that she's mekudeshes, he believes in different kind of psychology, and he says no, a woman is not ashamed. She doesn't care. She was Michael. Really, what an amazing guy. She, the best bocher in Lakewood. Like all of them are the best bochers in Lakewood. Yeah, so is he. Right. So she doesn't mind that he's missing one dinner. She's okay with that. That's how we interpret her silence of her being okay with it. But when it comes to karka, of course he was koine. Of course he was koine. These are two men, or men, women in the tough business world. Business is business. I don't care. And therefore, as long as you give me the last shekel of the apartment that you promised, yeah, it's not yours. And if I'm Michael, things are very clear. You don't have this, what we call in Hebrew, lo na'im situation. And that's why, b'mecher zekona, if you kept quiet and you said, okay, fine, you assume it's fine, and you don't explain it as all kinds of embarrassment and things like that. Having said that, if you cheshben the sugya, what would Rav say? Now, you tell me, people. According to what we just answered, we disengage this brisa from Rav. But Rav stands, the Rav sticks to his gun saying what? Milve lo itzonit, no? And it shouldn't be coined by Milve. But it shouldn't be, Milve should not be coined a woman. What about Karka? Same, right? We created a whole different case, a different platform for the case of the Karka. And most Rishonim really said that that's halacha. Ritva, Toises in Bab Metzia, many of them, the Rif keeps quiet. Many Rishonim say, and I saw some of them this morning, by Karka also you need new money, except for the Rambam. The Rambam and maybe the Rif. The Rambam clearly says no. The Rambam says that by Karka you can acquire Karka with forgiving a debt. It's a very mysterious kind of Rambam. It's a big question, Achronim, why is that? They say that the machlok is a sugyas, and Rambam holds of a different sugya. Rambam holds this sugya is not the halacha. Just general knowledge, yeah, that Rambam holds you can be koine karka by forgiving alone, and other Rishonim say you don't. I don't actually remember what Shulchan Aruch says. I have to admit, I don't even sure if I saw it b'chlal in Shulchan Aruch, but I know it's machlok is Rishonim, while the Rambam is the minority. But for now, let's continue with the more. The Ela. Now, again, we are constantly now talking, we're continuing the mahalach of speaking about who? Rav, who said what? Mekadesh b'milve, a woman, men gave a woman a loan a month ago, 2 months ago, of $1,000, and now he's telling her, at mekadesh, no ring, no thing. In what? In the $1,000 you have in your pocket, or you have in the bank, or you don't have, that $1,000 are yours. Keep it. Mekudeshes with that, she's not mekudeshes. Because he did not give her his money, he let her stay with her money. That's not called a nesina, it's not called giving kesef, for her to stay with her money. As I said, I'll just be mitzayin, if you remember, and I said it also on Thursday last week, if he specifies and he says, be mekadesh to me with a hanoas mechila, then she's mekudeshes. If you owe $1,000 and you're really down and out, it's a very, very painful situation to be in. You would pay $100, $200 to a person to convince the shark, to convince the bank, to convince the gemach owner to forgive you, right? So if he says, be miskadesh with $100, $200 that I'm speaking to myself, I'm moichel yidechod with that enjoyment of knowing that it's off your head. With that's a different thing. With that, she's mekadeshes, because that's a new service that he's doing to her. But with the actual money that's in her pocket, or worse than that, out of her pocket, that is not his money. That particular green envelope, once it's in her hands, it's hers. With that, you can't be mekadesh a woman with her money. Are you forgiving? That's a different ma'isa. That's a different story. The Ella. Now we're still continuing this malach over here. What did we say about the woman who is ashamed? She may is a woman who got 99% of the kiddushin and she seems to be okay with it. Is she really okay? Or is she in this lo na'im situation and therefore she's not mekudeshes? So okay, legit. The Ella Odom Blozo. Here comes Blozo. He's in a moiro, and he says, listen carefully to the case. We had that case in Daf Ches, if I'm not mistaken. A man told a woman, Miskadish to me b'moneh, v'nosan la dinar. How much is the dinar out of a moneh? 1%. Moneh is 100 dinar. So 1 dinar, he gave her 1% of the total, of the whole lot of the total. Harezo mekudeshes v'yashlim. Says Rav Lozo, she's mekudeshes. For sure she's mekudeshes. She's eshet ish. She's completely his wife, mekudeshes. At the other 99, he'll be mashlim later. And she relies on that. What do you mean she relies on that? Maybe she feels lo na'im to ask for the 99. Would you tell me that Rav Lozo's statement is really an issue of machlokes tanoim? That's not a great place to be for an amoira. Be up to machlokes tanoim. Yeah, in both cases, we spoke about a woman who did not get the entire amount. And here Rav Lozo says she's okay, she's fine, she's mekudeshes right now. The rest is a condition. You know, as he goes along, within the next few days, he'll give her the rest, and she trusts him, and she's okay, she's not ashamed. So we said whether she feels ashamed or not, or I would say embarrassed, or with inhibitions to ask him. Answers the Gemara, no. There's a big difference. Did you notice the numbers? Did you notice the numbers, friends? Yeah, there is spot the difference. Amri, when it's 100 minus 1, when he owes her 1 dinar, then she sounds like she is a stingy, kind of, klafte. I gave you 99, and you're still making big deal out of that 1 dinar. Is that how you're starting her marriage? She's scared of that. She feels embarrassed, and she's ksifa lamitbei. She feels shemtzech to start going to Beis Din with her new chassan to be toiveya, to demand 1 dinar, 1%, at least according to some Tanoim. But when he promised her 100 and he gave her 1, and she's still missing the small insignificant amount of 99%, that she's not ashamed to demand. She says, I'm sorry, darling, love you very much. Let's go to a honeymoon in Acapulco. All very good. I'm all with you. But we spoke about 100. You gave me 1. Yeah, then Avada, she's okay with asking for more. And when she said fine, she surely trusted that he'll give her more. And if not, she'll demand. Yeah. And therefore, it's not the same. What would be in the middle of the road? 50%? I don't know. That's a good question. But that's what we say so far. Now we're about to start the main part of the Shiur. I mean, everything is the main part of the Shiur. Now starts a brisa that will follow us till the end of today's Shiur, I think. Yeah. All the British people are asking questions. You notice, right? Yeah, right? Very good question, Ellen. And this has to be said online. You just came back and you're a star of the show. It is true what Ellen is alluding to, that it's a condition, as we saw Daf Ches Amud Aleph in the bottom of the page. Yes, only when she receives the 100 dinar, then she'll be retroactively mekudeshes. But it is retroactive. She is mekudeshes on condition they'll give her the other 99. I don't know in how long. If it said, that's another technical question. But only once she receives the other 99, then she's mekudeshes, but retroactively speaking, from the beginning. And we don't say she's right from the beginning, uncertain, unsure, and therefore unwilling. She is willing. She is okay. And it's just a technical condition that has to be filled in. Like any other Kenyan. Yeah, you buy a house, the house is yours, and there's still a debt pending, mashkanta. People pay mashkanta for 30 years, right? But the house is theirs right from the beginning, which we can argue now, but she wouldn't. But that's still good. Okay, weiter. Meisivi. Now, this brisa, I suggest that although you listen very nicely to everything, this needs special attention. Not that it's so difficult, but this brisa will be our friend for the rest of the day. So therefore, let's give it special attention, and let's just, I forgot that these such good questions. Meisivi, thank you very much. Meisivi says Elige Braise. Listen to 2 cases. Before we begin, we all know what's the difference between Pikodin and Alvo? Well, very, very clear. As we saw by the Tmorim, Picodon, don't touch, right? Picodon, by Picodon. If I deposited the same $1,000 by a woman, deposited, didn't lend her, who is the owner of that $1,000 in the green envelope on the top drawer? Who's the owner? Me, the mafkid, not her. She's just a guardian. That's all. That's obvious. I know it's obvious. We'll just have to open two boxes now because we're going to compare now a halva to a woman to picodon to a woman. Okay, obviously. We also know that picodon, let me ask you a very silly question. A woman and your mafkid the money, it's a very, very general question, and the money is gone. The money got lost. Does she have to pay you new money or no? Oh, depends. Obviously, the answer is depends. What level of shmir she is. Shomer chinim is chayv less, only pshia. Shomer socher, gneba v'veda, the different levels. Some people have to answer, have to be responsible, right, accountable to the loss, and some shomrim are not, obviously. This is just very, very simple facts, just to get us into the mood, into the background of the following brisa. Says the brisa, Be'ez Hashem. Amar Elisha, hiskachili bepikodon shesh li biyodeh. Yeah, you have a picodon in your house that I was mafkid, deposited, which you're not supposed to touch, lady, and she didn't. She's an honest person. Yeah, and what happens then? He's telling her, be miskadesh with $1,000 in a green envelope in your drawer. Okay, but that should be okay. It's his money, right? But listen, what happened? The whole Ooh, she went back home. She saw honest mistake. It was lost or was stolen or lost. But im nishtar ממנו שווה פרוטה מקודשת, ואם לאו אינה מקודשת. End of first part of the brisa. If he told her, iskachili, the Ritva says here, he didn't say the entire $1,000. He said iskachili with the pikodon, and whenever we talk about money, minimum of a pruta. He told her, you know, I have $1,000. I have to give you one pruta for kiddushin. That pruta is in that pikodon in your house. It belongs to me. And it got lost. Well, as long as what? There's one pruta left. Let's say $1,000. Let's say $1 is there still. The Ganav left her $1. Nice guy, yeah. Then she's mukudeshes with that $1. But if nothing is there, if it's zero, there's no money to be miskadesh with. If you're asking me what's the chiddush, you're going to regret that question. There's a lot of chiddushim here. But if there's nothing left, no money to be miskadesh. But if there's something left, she's mekudesh with that something. So far, so good. That's pikodon. Second hakofa, second chapter, ubemilve. Let's say he told her the exact same thing about milva. He lent her $1,000 in a green envelope. It's on her, or so we think, on her, I don't know, top drawer, the inner top drawer, same thing, but she's supposed to use it, milva. Says Tanakama, even if she spent it all, as women know how to do very well, she spent $1,000 in the store and now there's nothing left, then what? Still she's mekudeshes. Why? Was mekadesh with milveh. He's mekadesh and she's so happy that she doesn't have to pay anything back. Right? Now he didn't tell her about Noas milveh, about Noas mechila. Don't fall into that trap. He told her milveh, and she's mekudeshes because although nothing is left, great. Wow, what a great guy. Wow, love him. And I don't have to pay anything. Meaning that Tanakama seems to be mamish, face to face against Rav, right? There's nothing left, there's no money, but the fact, that sigh of relief, which is expressed in the money that she doesn't have to return, then what? Yivaldig, then she's mekudeshes, Shia. He comes a second opinion. From now on, we call him Rabbi Meir, if you don't mind. Rabbi Shimon Lozo says on behalf of Rabbi Meir, Milveh harehi kepikodoin. He doesn't argue about pikodoin, only about milveh. And he says as follows. When it comes to milveh, I differentiate, says Rabbi Meir, I differentiate. It's like pikodon, meaning, just like pikodon, so to milveh, if there's one pruta left, be'ain, real life there in the drawer, she's mukudeshes with that. If nothing is left, then she's not mukudeshes. Looks like he believes in milveh lotzonit halfway, right? If the money is gone, she's nothing tangible to be miskadesh, she's not. But if there's at least one pruta left from the halva, not pikodon, from the halva, then she's mukudeshes. Let's revise, let's repeat. Again, according to Tanakama, pikodon, what happens with pikodon? Pikodon is easy. Picodon is easy, or for now it's easy. Picodon, well, Picodon is his money. It's in her drawer next to her bed in a green envelope. It's his money. Got lost, got stolen. So what? As long as one pruta is there, it's his pruta. This is mekadesh. If nothing is there, zero. The ganovim stole everything. A burglar. Nothing is there. Then what? She's not mekadesh. There's no money of his. Finished. Milve is a machlokes tanoim. What's a machlokes tanoim? Machlokes tanoim. Whether in milve, some of the money of the milve has to be be'ain, still in existence, to be his kadeshes or not. And if it's gone, for sure, then if it's gone, that's a machlokes. No, excuse me. Everyone agrees that if money is left there, then it's okay. They're choilek only if the milva money was completely spent, if that's good or not. But now the Gemara stresses the arrowhead against Rav. Rav is really not good with any of the Tanoim. Why? We're going to understand it better now. Ad kan lo pligi, the only machlokes between Tanakam and Rabbi Meir, Ella. The Mar Sova, one of the opinions said, milve, the money of the milve of the loan. Afal the loan nishtar shve pruta mekudesh. That was Tanakama. Tanakama said, you know how much money is left in a drawer after a shopping spree in the mall? Well, kidarko b'kodesh, zero. And she said mekudeshes because he's such a great guy. He forgave the loan. He waived the loan, right? He rescinded. And Tanakama says that's great and good. That's not Rav's style. Umar Sova, Rabbi Meir is a little bit better. And he says, Nishtar imene shve pruta in, v'lo nishtar imene shove pruta loy. He says, no. You know when she's mukadeshes with a milva? As long as real money, shove pruta, is in that green envelope in the drawer, she has $1, miskadeshes with that. But if the entire money, the entire sum is gone, then she's not mukadeshes. But when push comes to shav, aval, the Gemara is very elaborate here. The kul alma, everyone agrees, mekadesh b'milva, mekudeshes. Everyone agrees, I would stress one level or the other, that milva mekudeshes, yes, mekadesh b'milva works. According to Rav, that's bad news. Because Rav said, and I stressed it, and Rashi said it, and I told you, according to Rav, the second the money was given to her hands, fresh, crisp notes, green envelope, nice, with the words good luck on it in your shopping, what a nice, and she didn't yet spend it at all. It's in her hands. There was a she can't be miskadish with that. That's clearly not the tone of voice of either of the Tanoim. So both Tanoim, as much as they argue about the level of milveh, but none of them agrees with Rav. Because Rav said the second it goes into her hands, poof, it's her money and you can't be mekadesh with her money. So none of the Tanoim is amazing according to Rav. That's a question on Rav from both. It's not even ketanoi. It's both Tanoim against Rav. Wow, that's a tough one. Answers the Gemara. Omer Rove says Rove v'tizbera. Do you think that Hom betaratzta Ham shabashtahi? You think this brisa is b'chlal correct brisa? This brisa is not well written. It's not correct. It's wrong. It's meshubash. Meshubash. It is distorted. It is wrong. Meshubash means like wrong or crazy. Yeah, meshubash. The brisa is worded wrong. The words of the brisa must be wrong, and I'll prove it to you. In other words, first of all, Rav is going to help Rav in two uneasy steps. First of all, he'll prove that the words of the brisa do not make sense, as it is, regardless of Rav, and then he'll rewrite the brisa in a way that would fit Rav. That's what Rava, the Amoira is going to do for us. Omer Rove. It's not meturet. It's not a good brisa. It's a bad brisa. Why? Because something here doesn't make sense. What did it tell you at the beginning of the Maisa? That not all pikdonos are the same. All human beings were created equal, but all pikdonos were not created equal. Some pikdonos, there is no responsibility at all. Yeah, let's say she says, I'm not even shomer chinam, or there's little responsibility, such as shomer chinam. And some of them have super responsibility, shomer socho, right? Leva vaveda. Hi, Pikodon, hey Chidami. Can you tell me what's the story about this Pikodon? What did everyone agree? What was the consensus regarding Pikodon? So far, let's remind me, please, my friends. The Pikodon was very easy, right? Pikodon is his money. Fine. And he said, Miskadish to me with the Pikodon. Well, if the Pikodon is still in the green envelope on the top drawer there, it's his money. She's taking it. The fact, by the way, that he doesn't give her does make a difference. The Ritva says, as long as he spoke about Kiddushin before, and she said yes, in this case, she has to say yes to connect it to the envelope, it's good enough. I'm not even going now to her saying yes, taking the envelope. The fact that he doesn't give an envelope, the fact that they are in a chasana hall, and he says to her, "Be miskadesh to me with the envelope that's in your room," is no problem. Why? Because now the envelope moved from his ownership to hers, virtually, right? Without him moving. Because it was in her house, but it was completely his. He moved it now to be hers. That's an asina without giving. Ever heard of bank transfers online? Well, it's not news. Yeah, by words, I can say, now it's yours, Givaldi. Says the Gemara, no, it's not so simple at all. Because, excuse me, what was her state of achrayas? What was her status regarding the responsibility? Aleha, it's a woman. If she accepted achrayus on it, hainu milve. Wait a second. If she accepted achrayus and she said, yes, I'll be a shomer chinam, chayiv b'pshia, I'll be shomer socher, chayiv more. If she accepted achrayus, and you're telling me, once the money's gone of the Pikadon, zero money, no Kiddushin. Why? Because, excuse me, if it was Gneva Vaveda, we said, and she's in Shashish Toch, that man was mafkid by me $1,000, and she doesn't have $1,000, and got lost or stolen, oh my gosh, he's WhatsApping all her friends, I'm in crisis, I have to now give him $1,000, oh my gosh, look at this knight in the shining armor, he forgave. He said, "You mekadesh to me in the Pikadon," which is the same as Alva. Just like in Alva, there are people like, that we said in the Mishnah, that believe that really by Alva, the fact that she doesn't have to give it back, that's Tanakama. The fact that you don't have to give it back is good enough, the sigh of relief is enough to be miskadesh. Same thing by Pikadon. Same thing exactly. If the Pikadon is with achrayas, now it got lost or stolen, even if there's zero, and now the entire $1,000 she doesn't have to give back. Although you have to give back, Pikadon with achrayas, you also have to give back the same way. So it's the same as milveh. So how can Tanakama differentiate between milveh and Pikadon with achrayas? The one and the same. And if you're telling me that she did not accept achrayas, okay, and therefore what? No acceptance of achrayas, that makes sense. It's his money. If everything got lost or stolen, she'll tell him, I'm sorry, lost or stolen, goodbye. Then there's no Christ. He's not doing her any favor by forgiving. There's nothing to forgive. If so, that does make sense factually, but then we run into a different problem. Why? Adetani Seifa, what did the Seifa say? Ubemilve, the Seifa invented a whole new case. We started in the ratio to talk about milve without achrayas, and there it's clear. Milve without achrayas, she's detached. It's his money, as long as his money is there, mekudeshes. Zero in his account, so to speak, not mekudeshes, because she's not a achrayas. Very good. But if so, what was the seifa? A new case. Milve, afal pi shelo nishtar meneshve pruta mekudeshes. Who said if you lent her money, then even if nothing is left there, says Tanakama, she's mekudeshes because milve lo need to know. Correct the Gemara. Stylistically, it's more than stylistically. It's somewhere between stylistically and halachically, it's a very bad brisa. And I'm sure you've been exposed to enough Gemaras to know the following concept, which appears a million times, well, not million, maybe, many times in the Gemara. Niflog v'nitni bedido. Niflog v'nitni bedido. You have to explain what that means. Chalk and cheese. When you compare two things in the Mishnah or brisa, they have to be similar, right? You don't run away to start talking about, you compare cheese to yogurt, cheese to milk, maybe cheese to meat. You don't compare cheese to chalk, ma'akesha, yeah? Because they both have TH. It's not a logical way of talking. I like eating cheese, but I don't, write with chalk. Yeah? Right? Same thing over here. If you believe that there's a difference within the world of Pikdonos, that's the way you should have phrased it. Look what we should have written, says the Gemara. The nice, elegant, logical way to finish the brisa should have been, when it's true that some of the money has to stay on the table for her to be miskadesh, shelo kibla aleh achrayas. If she did not accept achrayas, once the money is gone, no connection to you, mister. I'm sorry. The money got lost or stolen, mister. I'm no achrayas. Goodbye. Then, obviously, his money is not there. Her achrayas never existed. There's no kiddushin unless there's at least a pruta on the floor there. Yes. But aval, what should be the flip side of that? Not milve. Why milve? Why are you running to milve? Why are you talking about the chalk? Aval kibla ale achrayes. That should be. You should differentiate within pikdoinos. And tell me if it's pikodon with achrayes. Pikodon with achrayes. The entire money is gone. Disaster, Rahman al She's fainting. She owes $1,000 to that man. He'll take her to Bezin. She has no money to eat. And then, what a nice guy. He forgave her the whole thing. The bride should have said a milva with achrayas, which is really equivalent to pikodon with achrayas, which is equivalent to milva. There she's mekudeshes, because there, if something is left on the table, it's like him giving her his money. And if nothing is left, then givaldig. This Tanakama believes that a woman who's forgiven and wavered and is, she has the p'tur, he exempted her. It is a reason for Kiddushin. So why did you run to milveh? You should have differentiated within pikodon with a chrayis, without a chrayis, versus pikodon with a chrayis. The whole brisa of the Kitzur doesn't make sense. So stage number one, we have achieved. Rava believes that brisa poshu doesn't make sense. It's either wrong or badly written, one of the two. And therefore, elatoritzhachi. And now we're beginning to see the light. Don't give up. From now on, we're going to see the answer for Rav, and that will be tweaked a little bit, but this is the main answer now. We're about to see now the main, teretz for Rav, generally speaking. Elatoritzhachi. This should be the way that the brisa is written. I'm repeating because I know it's a little bit complicated. The Resha stays the same. The brisa has two parts: Resha about pikodon, Sefer about milva, right? The Resha stays the same. What's the Resha? We're talking here in the Resha that it's a pikodon, right? Okay, very good. And what's the story? We're saying here that she received pikodon. The man told her, "Be mekadesh to me with the pikodon, with the money of the pikodon. If something is left, very good. It's his money. The pikodon was never hers, not even for half a second, unless she's a thief. She's not. She's a good girl. So the pikodon is his. The fact that it's geographically in her salon, in her kitchen, in her bedroom, no problem. Lemais, at the end of the day, it's his money. As long as the pruta is left, being mekadesh with that pruta, we virtually changed from meter. That was always okay. Now, what about if nothing is left from the pikodon? Then she is not mekudeshes. Okay, the Seder. Why isn't she mekudeshes? Says Rashi. Now listen to this. You know what she's not mekudeshes? Because this is a milveh. Now we're answering Rav. Even if it's a milveh with a chrayas, and he says, you lost the whole thing, they miskadish to me. What a nice surprise. What a beautiful marriage proposal. Instead of taking you to Beis Din, I moichel you. No, it doesn't work, mister. Why? Because we believe milveh ain't a mekudeshes. It's like milveh. To forgive and just even out and let you stay with the money and it won't take you to Beis Din is not Kiddushin. Rav is back on the horse. The return of Rav. Rav is now good. What about the Seifa? Ube milveh. Why did we now run to milveh? So far, so good. The Nekama says, both pikodon without achrayas and milveh, which is, with achrayas, even with achrayas, pikodon with achrayas and milveh are the same. If there is money, yes, milveh, even though nishtash vepruta enim mekudeshes, milveh, whether there is money or there is no money, she's not mekudeshes. You know why? Because Tanakama believes milveh is not kiddushin. I'm repeating Tanakama now. Again, Tanakama, we're going to get this straight. First, pikodon, according to Tanakama, pikodon, if there's money left from the pikodon, his money is going to hate. $1, $100, whatever is there, is changing virtually from my territory to yours, Mekudeshes. Milveh, before that. Pikodon, once all the money is gone, even if she would be chayev and she's shaking in her skirt, not knowing what to do, not Mekudeshes if he just forgave and balanced it out, because that's like milveh. Just stay with your money, and I won't take you to Beis Din to ask you for new money compensation. That's not Kiddushin, and that's Tanakama strong. Milveh, forget it. Milveh, of course, it's a new case. Why? Milveh, whether there is money on the table or there's no money on the table, says Tanakama, ain't a mekudeshes, because Tanakama believes like Rav, Eina Mikudeshes B'milve. That's the Nakama. Yes. What? Because Lotzah Nitna. Yeah, I should repeat the words, right? Good. Milva Lotzah Nitna. Now, here comes the big Kiddush. So far, so good. Rabbi Shimon Lozo Oimer Mishum Rabbi Meir, Milva Reike Pikodon. He says, no, wow. Says Rabbi Shimon Lozo, Milva is like Pikodon. Milva, if, I don't want to say too much because the Gemara is going to explain it now, Milva is like Pikodon, which means that if some money is left on the table, she's Mekudeshes, and otherwise, no. Frag the Gemara, B'maika Miflagi. Explains Rashi, this B'maika Miflagi is a minefield. You answered halfway. Beforehand, both Tanoim were against Rabbi Rav. Now Rav has a friend called Chachomi, but he's still against Rabbi Meir. Is Rav arguing Chlokis Tanoim? This is really a jungle over here. 1 second. Omar Rabba, here comes the real answer. Here comes the real spitz of the answer. And that will be the spitz, and then a little other spitz alach. Omar Rabba, says Rabba, you know what is the real point of Machlokes? I found the Bnei HaYeshiva. I found the Rabbonim. Bebei Rav. Bey Rav, says Rashi, is not the house of Rav. It's a yeshiva. Bey Rav. It's a yeshiva. He found them in Mir, Lakewood, Ponevezh, Jvuna, Pompadisa. The Yatzvi V'Kamri. Here comes the main big news come now. They were sitting and saying, Bemilve B'Rshus Bailim Lechazoro U'adin Le'oinsin Kamiflagi. The Maasova Milva B'Rshus Lovikaim before the Maasova. Let me just translate this to English. Well, the story is as follows. I was careful with my words in the previous Amud when I said, when he gave her the green envelope, crisp and nice, untouched yet. She's waiting tomorrow when they start the sales in the shop. Yeah, right now the envelope was untouched. She didn't take even one pruta. Okay, that's the point of machlokes. Everyone agrees that milva lo tzonitna. Everyone agrees that once the lady opened that nice crispy envelope, she can almost smell the money, even though money has no smell. Yeah. And once she took, money has no smell, they say, no? He does? I don't know. Maybe in America. They do. They sent it? Okay, fine. So now, once she took one pruta, let's say $1, I don't know if it's the same yet, then, of course, we say, at that happy note, it becomes all 99, all 100% of the money becomes hers. Once she practiced, actualized her rights of being a balabosta over it and taking from money, at that happy note, everyone agrees, Tanakama, Rabbi Meir, Rav, and everybody in the world all agree, Milva Lotzonitna, and if at this unhappy note, excuse the pun, he's Mekadesher, too late, it's her money. What's the argument? What happens in the point of Alva when it's like Pikodon? What's Pikodon, my friends? Pikodon by a trustworthy person is not touched at all. Yeah, if I gave you my $1,000, if I had any, in a nice green envelope to look at them going away, I trust you not to begin to touch it. You put it in safe, right? You don't touch even $1 unless you ask me for permission, right? Oh, if milva is like Pikodon, meaning untouched completely, she didn't yet begin to use it, that's when they argue. What's the argument? The Marsova, there are two things. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. I appreciate that, Baruch. The Marsova, one opinion holds. Soon we're going to connect the opinions. Milve Birshus Loive Kaima, Zuadin Loinsim. Obviously, it's the Nekama. Milve, the second the envelope reached her hands and they verbally agreed, maybe she has to do Hagbah, Mashiach, that could be another Shaila. Once it's legally in her hands, before she began to touch it, she didn't yet take $1 even. Then at this point, Birshus Loive Kaima already, it belongs to the Loive, meaning, says Rashi, big news, the Malve cannot regret. That's one of Kamina. Let's say the Malve, he left her house and then he heard that she's a very bad person. Yeah, why should be Malve money to that horrible girl? I don't know. She did something. I'm not saying it's good midos. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to be Malve her. Can he quickly run back to her house? And as long as she didn't open the envelope, say, excuse me, I regret. Nothing. No. Well, says Tanakama, no. Once it's in her hands, even though she didn't start to basically dip into it, it's already hers. What do you mean hers? She'll have to give it to you in a month. She'll have to return it eventually, obviously. But it's completely hers, meaning it's a point of no return from the side of the Malve. That's from his responsibility. What about hers? Let's say the money wasn't yet touched. She put the nice green envelope, $1,000, fantasizing about the shopping she'll do tomorrow. Yeah. And then what? Lightning struck. Oinsin, lo aleinu, chas v'shalom, terrorists came. flood came out of her control. Well, does she have to pay him back? Yes. It works both ways, lady. Once we say you are a loive, works both ways. You are a loive and he can't regret and just pull it back. You're a loive. If anything happens to it, a loive is like a shoyel. We all know in this room that a shoyel is chad b'ointzin. Yeah, we're not in Kita Aleph now, right? That's the Nakama. Therefore, says the Nakama what? The Nakama says that's a difference by halva. I don't care, says the Nakama. Halva, either before, middle, or after the spending, at any given moment, it's hers, and it cannot be mekadesh with halva. Very good. And that's what the Nakama said. It says by the halva. You know what that means? Halva, even if she didn't touch pruta, that's it. She cannot be mekudeshes. The second it reaches her hands, it's hers completely for all intents and purposes. And therefore, you can't be mekadesh with her money, mister. Let Rabbi Meir talk. Malsova, no. Rabbi Meir says, listen, guys, listen, I shouldn't say guys, listen, chachomim. I agree with you in general, milva lotzon itna, but when does it start its life as a milva? When do you start calling it milva? I believe it starts later than you, chachomim. Mar, which is Rabbi Meir Savar, milve, unopened envelope, she can even open it, as long as she didn't take one dime, one pruta from the kitty, from the envelope, milve b'shus bailim kaima, as long as she didn't take one note, it's yet untouched. At that moment, it's not yet hers, and he can drive back to her house and say, I just got a phone call from two Adim, kosher Adim, I don't know, and they told me you're doing these terrible things. I'm not lending you money. You're going to spend it on drugs. Let's say, I'm not giving it to you. Yeah. So then you can take it back as long as she didn't open it. As long as she didn't take some. Same thing. As long as she didn't take $1, one pruta, came a robber to her house with guns. What can one girl again do against a guy with guns? And he took the thing. It's oinsim. She's not chayev because it's not yet hers. Therefore, Baruch Hashem, let's summarize. We're not all the way there, but Baruch has been very patient. So I'll summarize a little bit, and then I'll hear you, and then I will, it's late, but then I will hear you, and then we'll continue. Let's summarize. The Braisa, Burich Hashaim, the Braisa works very, very, very nicely with Rav. Everything, Bezrat Hashem, let us now, get it all right. Says Rav, milva lotzon nitno. Mekadesh b'milva eina mekudeshes milva lotzon nitno. Great. Once a woman, in this case it's a woman, a man can only mekadesh a woman. Last time I checked, I'm saying it applies time to all voice, but here we're talking about Kiddushin. A man was malve money to a woman, and therefore says Rav, once the halva is her halva, is her loan, her money, can be mekadesh her. Can be mekadesh a woman with her money. She likes the fact that she wanted to pay back. Yeah, but that's not what he was mekadesh with. Didn't specify that. He said I'm mekadesh with the money, not with the enjoyment of the thing, of the psychology of being relieved. He says this money is your Kiddushin. It's her money. Can be mekadesh with her money? No. Everyone agrees to Rav. Everyone agrees to Rav. Elamai. The only machlokas that the Kamna Rabbi Meir is the very simple machlokas. When do you begin to apply Rav? At what stage? The Nakama says once the lady got the envelope to her hands, Gamarnu kaput. It's in her hands. That's a Shiloh went. There was a verbal agreement. Mashiach Agbo. It was done. Done deal, alva. She didn't begin to touch one dime, one penny, one shekel from the kitty, from the envelope. Then what happened? Machlokes. The Nakama says already at this point it's considered hers completely, which means he cannot regret. Which means that oinsim, she'll have to pay if anything happens. It's hers. Once it's hers, it can't be mekadesh a woman with her money. Mashenk and Rabbi Meir says, hold it. Rabbi Meir says, no. Rabbi Meir says, as long as she did not dip into the money, then it's still considered his money, strings attached, and he can take it back but if it's still revocable, right? Still reversible. And also, oinsim, she wouldn't have to pay two nafkaminas. Also, nafkamina, if at this point he's now telling her, be miskadish to me with this money, mekudeshes, and Rav not necessarily argues with that. Mekudeshes, because it's not yet her money, it's his money. As long as she did not dip and take $1, according to Rabbi Meir, I agree, says Rabbi Meir to Rav. I agree, milva lotonitna. It's not yet milva. It's still his money, happens to be in her drawer, just like her good old friend Pikodon. Pikodon, his money in her drawer, He doesn't have to give it to her, on the finger with the photographers looking and the shviger crying. It's not part of the halacha. Lemaisi, move the money from him to her. That's good enough. I don't have a lot of time for questions now, but I'll hear a question now, and then I will continue. One question now. The lucky one is you. We're in the middle of the story, middle of the suspense. What was this whole business? That was Rabba telling us that all that I just told you is what the Talmidei Chachamim in the yeshiva told him. And I answered back to them that they're halfway right. I agreed with them halfway, which means Le'oinsim, you said there are two nafkaminas, right? Whether it's her money or not. For what? Can he take it back? And is she chayev b'oinsim? Okay? And I differentiated between the two. And I told them, Le'oinsim, kul almaloi pligi, the bilshus loy vekaimi. For oinsim, the second she receives the envelope, even though she did not open it, did not take even $1, it's right away hers, regarding that she is mechuyev, responsible, accountable, even if chas v'shalom jihad guy comes and steals it from her. My time, why is that? It's not. What did it tell you? Why are you so certain here that she's chai be'oinsin? Because borrowing money is like borrowing a hammer or borrowing whatever, I don't know, a comb, right? Borrowing a shoyel. We all know that a shoyel is chai be'oinsin. I want to ask you a question. When you did you ever lend your neighbor a hammer, a Black & Decker, a drill? Hopefully you did. You're a good guy. Well, does he start to forget about the small wear and tear? Generally speaking, he's supposed to give the whole thing intact. Yeah, the same way, right? Well, he's still chai b'oinsin. Says Rabba, listen to the logic. It should be worse than sheila of an object that's supposed to be returned as it is. Ma sheila dahadro be'ena chai b'oinsin. Sheila, there's no dipping in. There's no slowly using up my drill. You use the drill, the little bit wear and tear, but it's the same drill coming back. It's still chai b'oinsin. The second I closed the door, not close the door, the second you did Meshicha, and we decided you borrow my Black & Decker, and what? We said, yes, great, you're a shoyel. If half a second after you took it to your house, before you started using it, I don't know what, came a monkey from outside, a dog, and threw it away, you're chayiv. Nothing to do with using or not using. Apparently that's what we're saying. Or I'm not even talking about usage. We're talking clearly about dipping in. There's no such thing. It's not choser. Milve lokol sheken. Milve says all the more so. Milve for sure. Milve, you're allowed to use it any given second. It's a kol sheken. Because milve, she is allowed to use it straight away, right? And actually take from the thing. She has more permission. To borrow Black & Decker, you have to be so careful. The drill, the hammer, whatever, the cork opener, yeah? Money? She is allowed any given second to take it. Of course she's chai b'oinsin. Ella, what do I agree with you with? The first thing you said. It's the argument between Tanakam and the Rimeir. Here, milve b'shus v'alim l'chazara ika beinayu. The first nafkamina you said, can the malve regret or can he not regret as long as the person didn't yet open the envelope? That's a machloikes. Mitzad the malve. When I'm considered a malve, done deal, point of no return, irrevocable. The Nekama says once I gave him the money, even if he didn't use it or she didn't use it. While Rabbi Meir says only when she starts using it, then it's a point of no return. But mitzad her rights, she has the rights to use it right away. If she wants to, she's chai b'oinsin right away. Last stage in the Gemara, and I have to go straight away. The Ella, brag the Gemara. If that's how you compare money to a drill or a hammer, to hash'olah, as I told you, Tzvi, in Hebrew, it's nafkamin al-aloch in Hilchas Shabbos. Halva and hash'olah are two different words in Hebrew for lending. Lehalvot, Israelis make mistakes all the time. Life that's besides the point. It's important over here. What's halva? Yeah, halva is something that I will not see again, just a different one, money or milk. Yeah, or whatever, something that's perishable, something that's used up. The sheikh and hash'olah is the drill or a hammer that hopefully I'll see them make as they are. That's hash'olah. We see it here in the Gemara also. The Ella, frag the Gemara. Hadama Rav Huna. How will you explain the following statement of Rav Huna? Hashoyel kordo mechaveroi. Yeah, a person a person who borrowed a cordon, that's like an X from his friend. You know at what point the original mashir, see, I made a mistake myself. When does the mashir can't return anymore, can't revoke his words, cannot regret? Oh, yafeh. Oh, but it's not a pashut. Bikaboy knoi, lo bikaboy loy knoi. If he used it, then bika, once he chopped something with it, it's an act, he chopped, I don't know, tree, something with it, that's it. The malve, the mashil cannot go back. As long as he didn't use it, then the giver can still change his words. It's be right, but no. We just said now about the money. What do we say about the money? Tanakama and Rameir. Tanakama says even without, but yes, Tanakama says even before she dipped into the money, before she touched $1, it's already hers, and what? He cannot regret. And Rabbi Meir is the one who said that only once she started using, then he cannot regret. It seems to be by cordon, by X, everyone agrees, but why? Seems to be Mechalokes. Rav Huna is the one who says that by cordon, by an X, only once you use it, then he cannot go back on his words. The owner, yeah, and before it he can. Is a Mechalokes Tanoim about Rav Huna, puts Rav Huna in a bad place. Answers the Gemara, no, loy, and that's the end. Ad kan lo pligi ela b'milved deloy hadra be'ena. Aval b'she'ela hadra be'ena, divrakul b'kebo in lo b'kebo loy, knooi. Full stop, which means there's a big difference. Yeah, the person who is, again, as we said all along, money, milve lo hadra be'ena. Nobody's expecting when you lend money to your friend, you don't really expect, unless you're, excuse my language, insane, the very same money to come back to you. Obviously, he's going to use your money to pay for his kids' chasanas, for something good, to pay for milk and honey, to start a business. I don't know what he'll use for it. Yeah, he'll use it for something. Other money is coming back. Oh, and therefore, what milve is meant to be used up. Is meant to be used up, as opposed to the hammer. I expect the very same hammer to come back to me, hopefully in very good condition. Otherwise, I want answers. That's clearly different. And therefore, and Milva says Rashi, by the halva of the money, the second she received it to her hands, even before she went to Macy's and Bloomingdale's, yeah, I think $1,000 doesn't go very far over there. I know. With $10,000, Harrods, with 50,000 pounds, as long as she didn't touch one thing, so what? But she can. She be'etzim can use up the money in half a second, all the money she's allowed to. Therefore, says Tanakama, it's only a question of time. It's irrelevant. When will she start going through the whole thing? That's all, right? So be'etzem, as I hinted to you before, the second she receives it to her hands, she's allowed to use up everything in 2 seconds. She cannot pay for the dress in Harrods, 50,000 pounds in a second. She can. She didn't. She chose not to. But be'etzem, she has every right, and therefore it's completely hers for everything. Everyone agrees. Oinsim, even he cannot regret. But she'en ken, the hammer, no. She can't use the hammer or the drill. She's not supposed to use them up. She's supposed to what? What's the ideal situation for her? To use, no, well, I don't know how much she would do. And then yeah, she will build a sukkah. She'll start knocking in the nails, right? That's called beginning, bichlal, to have shaykhs to the thing. Yeah? As opposed to the money, right away she's allowed to use it up. Therefore, she has more rights straight away. Right away, that's it. It's hers. Mashenken, yeah, Mashenken Rabbi Meir, he believed it's the same. But Tanakama and Rabbi Meir would both agree to Rav Huna. When it's something that you not meant to use up, but use, when did you really start alvo? When did you start alvo? When you knocked. Before you knocked, you didn't do anything. The purpose didn't begin. Mashenken the money, be'etzem the money is hers. It's hers money to right away use. You can also say it's also his hammer to use right away, but the hammer will not be used up. Because the hammer will not be used up, it's a different standard. The hammer, the whole vort of hammer, let me explain again. Why do you want money? You want money to be able to use it. Why do people want to be rich? Why do people want to have 10 million? Because it gives you power to do whatever you want. That's what people think, at least. I have a lot to say about that, yeah? That feeling, it's not just psychological, that ownership of being able to spend, that she has in half a second. And that's what she gained. Even if she'll keep it for a week, She knows I have $1,000. That's what the Rishonim explained in different thing. To know that I have $10,000 in the drawer, even if you won't use it for a month, it's a very, very good thing. I know I have it. The shank and the hammer, no, I'm not happy. A little bit, not the same. A hammer, the whole vote is to use the hammer. As long as she didn't use the hammer, nothing really started. At least not mitzad him. You'll be able to take it back from her. That's what the Nakama believes. Yeah, shaking the envelope. The second it's in her hands, that's it. It's hers completely, and she cannot be miskadosh straight away according to Tanakama. But the mayor says no. But the mayor says a hammer and money are the same. Only once she starts using them, it becomes hers completely. Cannot be mekadesh. As long as she didn't touch it, she can be miskadosh. By the way, the hammer she can't be miskadosh anyways because it's planoter. That's a different story. No hammer, no. No hammer is a vada not it's a sh'olo. No hammer, unless it's mekadesh. No, of course. Unless he gives her the hammer, then of course it works. Avada, yeah, I meant right. If he tells us catchily with a hammer, that it does work. Yeah, I meant Seda. Thank you. Shkoyech, thank you very much. I do have to run now. I have to run. To unfortunately, let's hope we meet in Simchas, but now I have to go. I got a phone call. Thank you, Atzlocha Brocho, and thank you to everyone on Torah Anytime and YouTube and everybody else who watches us somewhere out there. Iskol Mitzvah Atzlocha Brocho.